this AI thing.
Oh, don't worry about it. Leave it on. I
Okay.
got one
Okay.
going too.
Okay. Yeah. And I hate it. And it just intrudes on all of my meetings.
Yeah,
So screw
so does
that.
mine. But
So, right? Yeah. Whatever.
well, eventually we're gonna start having meetings
Mhm.
where there's more AI on the call than us, basically human
Yeah.
beings.
Yeah. It's so a lot of the people in my company speak like Russian is their first language.
Hmm.
So sometimes for like big in-house meetings, they will speak in Russian and we'll all use like AI, like the AI thing to, I just sit there. I'm like, what are they talking about? Are they talking
Y-
about me? What was just said about me?
you are living in the Star Trek future because that's exactly how it
Yes,
works on the Enterprise, right?
that's actually true.
Everyone speaks
Sweet.
their own language, and then their translators basically translate it for them. Because do you remember there was one episode where the universal translator blew up, and like everybody was speaking their own language, and nobody could understand anybody else, kind of like what it's like today, right? Even though
Yeah,
everyone speaks English.
yeah. I mean, I'm over here using Duolingo to try and learn that so I don't have to rely on computers because the things I say, I'm pretty sure AI isn't allowed to repeat.
Well, once the universal translator comes into place, then God will come down and smite us again, have another Tower of Babel. Doom, we'll all be off and
Can't
speaking different
wait.
languages again.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
So typically, I ask you to introduce yourself and your
Mhm.
organization and tell us what you're passionate about, but you've
Yes.
already started, right?
Yes, yes. Well, I should introduce myself. Should I tell people
Please.
who I am? Okay. So, hello everyone out there. My name is Nikki Night, and I am the community manager for a fan site called My Club. And my job is to make sure that the content creators and models there have all the skills and tools that they need to, sell their content safely, understand their customers, and one thing that I am absolutely passionate about is giving models the skills and tools that they need to be business people and to give them skills that will actually carry them throughout their business lifetime. Like,
Oh,
I
very
want them
cool.
to learn things that they can take with them and use anywhere because business is business is business. It just, the only thing that makes a difference is what you're selling, right?
Right.
So, I'm extremely passionate about inspiring people to love self improvement, even though it is hard. And also extremely passionate about just giving people tools and skills and opening up avenues or doorways or pathways in their life that they previously thought not possible and just teach them things that they never thought that they would know about business or anything like that. And that's
So you're
something
like a
that,
sports agent, but
yeah.
for these guys, right? It's like, do you remember like originally like sports athletes were like nobodies and nothings, and then all of a sudden sports agents came along and they became like ridiculously
Yes.
overpaid celebrities?
Yes. And they're all selling us things like Tylenol and printers. Yes, I do.
And eventually adult diapers, depending on
You know what? Adult diapers do come into play in my industry sometimes, yes. So,
I would not
yeah.
be surprised. So how long have you been doing this?
So I started myself as a model in 2010. And I
Wow,
was a model, yes. And then I went over to the business side of it, like the
the
coaching,
dark side.
training side of it, the dark side, the darker side in 2013. So I guess it's been, oh my God, 11 years of coaching and training models and just helping sex workers with business stuff,
Wow,
making
that's
sure they're
insane
safe.
because I can't believe how much has changed in the last 11 years. Like,
Oh my God.
tell me about the changes from then till now. Like, what's going on?
Okay, so when I started, I don't even think Snapchat was even a thing yet. And
Wow.
then is just over the years, there have become, or there have just been more and more tools and sites and features and things that have been introduced into the market. And it's just become just almost like a zoo of products and,
A zoo
stuff
is
that
probably
models,
a really good
right?
description.
Yes, of things that models can use to, monetize their content, make money, stream, talk to their clients, communicate with people, just establish like a really good relationship with their fan base, stuff like that. So it's gone from mostly just like webcamming and stuff like that, and then fan sites, of course, like the rise of fan sites, sites like My Club, where models can sell their content, monetize their stuff, talk to their fan base, things like that, and
So
keep in
it's gone from
contact.
individuals to platforms basically, right? Because
Yeah,
everybody had their own
yeah,
individual website and they had to go through
yes,
all of the pain and
yeah,
suffering of creating your own website. And
yes,
now there's a platform. So all you really need to
yes,
do is sign up for the platform and boom, start streaming.
absolutely. And then it's also just a lot safer. The biggest thing with that was making accepting money easy,
Mm.
right? Because it was, way back in the day they were using sites like PayPal, and you can't do that at all because
That's still
it just
around. A few people do
it
use it.
is, it is, but just to accept money that way can be kind of dangerous, so
It's
they
like
made it
having
a
a
lot
Yahoo email
safer.
address.
Oh,
It's like
Jesus.
having
Yeah.
you still have CompuServe? No, no, no.
Yes. Yes. Um, so it's just really changed in the way that models are able to conduct their business, and they've just been given a lot more tools, and because of all these extra tools and new sites and everything, there's been a big rise in models feeling burnout or trying to do everything, be everywhere, be everything to everyone all the time. So it's become quite it's become quite hectic for them. And
Yeah,
so that's kind of where I come in. I kind of tell them, you don't have to be on every single site. Find a place that matches you, fits your needs, use that, focus on it, create your funnel, if you will. This is how you collect your audience, establish your brand, communicate that brand, and then, of course, how to deal with your customers and create a really wonderful experience so that everyone's really happy. So people are
yeah,
happy to tip you for your services, and models are happy to do it because they're not overrun with 10,000 things they're trying to do. And that's kind of my personal
yeah.
battle. So
Well,
it's
that's the
grown.
thing with all these different platforms. There's pressure to be on all
Yeah.
those different platforms, right? I mean, I think
Yes.
that's what ends up happening is that you're on a platform,
Yes.
you create content, you're doing really well, and
Mhm.
you think, oh crap, here's another platform, here's another platform, here's another platform. Do I have to do it for all of them? And then you have to
Uh-huh.
try and figure out ways of streamlining it. And especially if it's live streamed, I mean, that's almost impossible to be on multiple platforms at once, right?
Do you want to be a model? Because you get it. So that would be great. I will
Well,
coach
I'm
you
a content
anytime.
creator, but I'm not
We can talk about this offline. If you've got nudes, I can help you out there because I got you, right? I got you. But you're totally right.
be real,
Like,
real particular fetish, unfortunately. That's the problem.
that will make money the more particular it is. I'm
I
telling
know. I
you.
think so. Like I came up with this, but once AI has already stepped into the game and gone, like you can really
Yes.
type in your particular really specific fetish, and it'll just generate it for you. It's like what poor human beings. What the hell are we gonna do?
You should see the things that I get kicked off of ChatGPT for, like, all the time. So, yeah.
I bet.
Um,
And this is just normal business. It's like you're
this
just
is
trying
just
to do your
normal
normal
business.
business, and
Yes.
ChatGPT is like, no, no, we can't do that. Shut you down. Come on, come on. Whatever happened to no guardrails? We need no guardrails. We need free speech. Come on.
I could just give you a list of the error messages that they do send because I've had all of them.
Some of them are
But
actually pretty creative, I find.
yeah, yes, they are in the ways they tell me to F off and stop typing that.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Yes. But
So what would
mm,
your be so your advice for a
mm,
creator back in 2011 is very different
mhm.
from your advice for a creator in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just even the way that they're, connecting with their audience is a lot different, and the ways that they can do it, and just every site has its own special little way of doing it. And now the nice thing about my club where I work is that we are offering AI, and this really isn't available basically anywhere else, like on a platform level. I've heard of little plugins here and there, but those aren't really accepted by a lot of sites and you can't really use them. But we're really one of the first sites at all to be using AI to kind of help models manage all of these polls here and left and everywhere, so they can actually have a life, get back to creating content. And it also, I mean, I'm sure people have heard of like agencies. So there's a lot of
Hmm.
agencies that help models kind of manage their content and manage their fans and chat with them and da da da.
Yep.
But we are really the first site to actually offer an AI option so that
Mm.
models who might not be able to sign with an agency or have this, they now have access to something that's going to help them, scale up their business without scaling up like their input. Like
Well,
they're
I'm
able to work
curious,
smarter, not harder.
how does the AI help? Let me,
So,
because I'm familiar with AI influencers. Obviously, everyone knows about
mm,
those. But
yes.
how does AI help the influencers? How does it help the creators?
So we have something called digital twin, and it's a whole
Ooh, I want
process.
one. I want one. I
Yes,
want a digital
me
twin.
too. See, and that's actually where the idea came from, because I don't think there's a person on this earth in this day and age who hasn't said, like, I wish there was two of me. I wish
Hmm.
there was another
I
person
wish
who
there were
was just
10
working
of
all the
me,
time.
literally.
If there was 10 of me, watch out. Okay. There, you're welcome. There's only one so far.
There's an
Well, two.
army,
There's an army, a Nikki army. Um,
an army of
basically,
Nickies. I can imagine what ChatGPT would do with that one.
I would get kicked off the internet 10 times over, I swear. Yes. But the AI, what it basically does is like there's a whole process of creating your digital twin and like telling it things that you like, telling it things that you don't like, submitting pictures, submitting, um, conversations, stuff like that, talking about what you're into, uh, things that you call your fans, ways that you speak to them, little particular things that make you you. And when you set up your twin, it actually helps you, one, reply to your audience. We don't lie and say that it's you. We do say it is your digital twin because no one's here to, misrepresent anything, but it'll talk to people 24/7. It'll share your content and get the right content to your users. If someone, like, if they want that picture of you doing XYZ now, they can get it to you XYZ now.
If it
Um,
exists. If it
if it
exists.
exists, but
Right.
even it can actually create that content for you,
Oh man, this is great.
right? It can
I
create
definitely
that
want one of
content.
these now.
Yes, it can create that content for you and, get it to your audience, sell it to your audience, do all these things so that, you're able to sleep at night and actually get some rest, create more content and do more stuff. And then your twin is there as basically you, your digital assistant that talks like you, acts like you, looks like you, even has your voice, sounds like you, and can kind of help you manage and help sell your content 24 hours a day. And it's also kind of cool because there are so many new creators coming into the industry that really have no idea what to do, how to do it. It almost, in a way, acts like a training tool because you can
Mm,
see all the conversations and the model can, step in whenever and start chatting. And it almost acts like a training tool of like how to talk to people, how to say things, how to, basically how to sext them and talk to them and get this content, how to pick up on particular cues,
right.
that might be telling you where this conversation should be going, how to facilitate this fantasy in, the best way to make sure that it's just a completely enjoyable
Oh,
experience
that sounds
for
like a
your
lot of work
customer.
though. Like if you've already got a whole bunch of
Yeah.
content, can't you just point it at the content and say, "Hey, create another me"?
It's, well, yeah, you can kind of, but it just it again, like there's a whole setup process, and of course you do put all your content in there, stuff that isn't previously sold, it's exclusive that your twin will have, and then you label it what is seen in the image or the video, whatever, and then they can, or your twin is going to speak to someone, pick up on little cues that maybe someone who's a little bit more new or someone might miss because they're talking in 55 chats at the time, and then can be like, okay, I think you're going to like this.
Hmm.
And it just kind of reads even deeper into a conversation and can kind of pick up on the tone and just the nuances that can be missed by a human, especially a human who's trying to manage so many things at once.
Right.
So your twin really does help you manage your fans. And I honestly think it's great because this thing, it's modeled after you. Like it has your voice. When you say hello to it for the first time, it'll send you a voice note of the creator's voice. And it sounds just like them. The first time I
Wow.
heard my voice, it blew my flippin' mind. It blew my mind.
I love it. I love it. This is
Yes.
great. This is fantastic.
Yes.
You guys are the vanguard of this technology because it's
Yes.
going to go everywhere. I mean, this is not just limited to your space. This is going to be everywhere. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think it's cool, because over the years, I've just seen models burn themselves to the core, like burn
Yeah.
themselves out. And what ends up
Well, it's a
happening is
treadmill, isn't it? I mean, you're
it is.
constantly creating
Yes.
content. You cannot stop. Otherwise,
Yes.
you're irrelevant, right? It's almost like once you get on this train, you got to go to the end. There's no place to
It's a
stop. There's
bullet
no way.
train.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
bullet train, right? And for people who are just
And you're
new to
running it. You're like on the treadmill, providing the electricity.
exactly. Now you can have your twin do all that crap that you don't want to do, right? All those tasks.
Exactly.
And
All the crap I don't want to do. Just like,
yeah,
please take it off my hands.
yes. And I mean, it's just there's been such a rise again because models are, they feel like they have to be everything to everyone. And a lot of models come into this industry not necessarily having a tech background, an e-commerce background, even a business background. Maybe they were an artist before, or they were this or they were that, whatever. So they kind of really get burnt out because they don't know when to stop. And I know that's something that we see with all technology. People don't know when to stop scrolling. People don't know when to stop replying. People don't know when to stop doing that, or they're constantly, they can't sleep because they're checking, oh, who's commented on my stuff? Who's done
Yeah, but
this?
you can
Who's done
blame the
that?
platforms for that because they constantly need interaction. If you don't
Hmm.
constantly have interaction on the platform, then they knock you down in the listings. It's like, wait a second. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm
Kind
forced
of
to get on the
insidious.
treadmill. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's kind of insidious, this whole thing. And and because of that, I think it's also trained customers to expect that same, level of engagement back. So if they don't get a reply right away, they're like, peace. And you really only get one first shot. Like you get one first, interaction or try to get that person to be like, oh, okay, well, now I'm going to be paid attention to here. Someone
Yeah,
is going to talk to me.
yeah,
So it kind of eases the pressure of having to be there all the time. You know that your customers are going to be taken care of. And because of that, we find that a lot of models have really taken to, like, they want to work on our site, like they want to be on my club because they know that they're not stressed out.
mm,
Things are going to be handled. And I've also found kind of a curious thing, even from people who were really wary of AI at first, have become really protective of their twin. Right?
it's
Like
like
they
this is my
really,
sister.
yeah, they really care for their twin, and they get kind of mad. Like if someone says something really like mean or weird to them, they're like, "Well, what the hell? They can't just say that." I'm like, "Well, it's a robot, so it's fine." And
Yeah,
they're
but
like,
it's kind of
"No,
like a representation of you, really. So it's
totally.
kind of like this person, if I had been available, this person would probably have spoken to me like that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I'm really curious now about
Yeah.
the response because you
Mhm.
say that you label everything so people
Yep.
know I'm talking to an AI and
Yep.
not the actual creator.
Yep."
So what has there been a response been from the customers? Are they like, oh crap, this is an AI. I want to talk to so and so.
So what the way that we've set it up is that a model can decide to turn on the AI chat, or turn it off. So if they have a whale that's they've been talking to forever that they know really would not like this feature, they can shut it off. So you
Right.
can really have control over who talks to what. Um, there has been a surprising number of people who are really into the AI, like
Hmm.
really into it because they know they can ask or talk about things more openly with this
Exactly.
AI versus a
Exactly.
human. They're much less
No
likely to
judgment.
get offended. Exactly. No judgment. Much less likely to get
As long as you don't build a
offended.
judgment into the AI like they do with ChatGPT.
Yeah, that thing is judgy as hell, especially towards me and the things I ask it. But I
Hey,
mean,
you're
of
not the
course,
only one.
they're
It judges me every day too.
writing a letter right after this. Dear ChatGPT, you guys are prudes. But it's on one hand, it's a way that it kind of stops models from having to deal with maybe some crazy things. Because if you're talking to people all day, that energy, that vibe can really, like, you can take a lot of that energy in and it can wear on you.
Yeah.
And then, just looking at it afterwards, it's a lot easier, like on their soul, if someone says something, whatever. And of course, there are absolutely rules and guidelines for things that the same thing when you're talking to the actual creator, things you can't talk about, it can't be XYZ. It has to be, of course,
Yeah, you give it
everything
your
you're
own
talking about over
you provide the
18. Yeah,
guardrails for
we
the
do.
AI.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, we do. So if someone wants to talk about some really crazy stuff at length, then they kind of can. And then it just, the model is able to step in when they feel they need to, and, or they can just kind of let it run. But a lot of guys have really been into it. And of course, there's a huge fan base of people who are into AI specifically.
Mm,
Um, some people are like,
that's
wait,
humans for you.
right? That's humans for you. There are some people who really like to try and trick the AI and try and see what they can get it to do. And then there are some people who seem to not really
Challenge
care.
accepted.
Yeah, right? There's some people who seem to not really mind because they know that it's, you know, like a copy of the model. They'll ask it like, "Oh, are you into this, this, and this?" And the
Yeah.
model or the AI will be like, "Yeah, of course I am." Blah blah blah. And so where they might at first feel a little bit like, "Oh, okay, this is actually like this person that I'm coming to see that I know this is a digital copy of this person." So I've seen a lot of people come in with maybe like a little hesitant, but at the
Hmm.
end, they love chatting because they can talk to the twin all the time. They're always there
Yeah,
and they can
24/7,
just,
right?
yeah,
Whenever you want to talk.
totally. And I find that's been more of the response, more so than people being like, "Oh, I'm not into this." The only thing that I would say, some people who are not into AI at all, it's not even just about us, it's about AI in total, like in general. People are afraid of, AI is gonna take our jobs or AI is gonna do this or do that. When in reality, that's just not the case. Like that's the
Yeah.
same thing as saying the internet is going to take our jobs. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Or Photoshop. When Photoshop first came out, everyone was like, well, everything's going to be fake now.
Yeah.
Now, most people won't even let a photo of themselves go out without having it photoshopped. And it's
Yeah,
just an
exactly.
accepted,
It needs to be
wanted
improved.
thing. Yeah, it's an accepted, wanted thing. And this is
Yeah.
how we see ourselves. And it's just, I don't know. I've also found that a lot of people have spoken more freely with the twin than they would with an actual, person because
Yeah. So
again,
they
no
prefer it.
judgment. Yeah,
That's
some
really
people really
interesting.
prefer
There
it.
there was actually an article today in my AI Daily, the other newsletter I do, where they were talking about half of Gen Z want to become influencers. So you've got
Oh
a huge
yeah.
audience right there, but they're
Yeah.
worried about AI taking over. And how are you seeing that? So everybody on
Mm,
your site has got a digital twin, or all the digital twins that you've created are actual twins of real people. And
yes.
you don't see yourself ever getting into the AI only game where you're creating your own influencers. I'm assuming not. But there are
So,
companies out there that are doing that. So how do you
yeah. How do we
push
manage
against
that?
that? Yeah,
So, the thing with this is there has to be a real person for this to be a twin. So, everyone, and you can decide to make your digital twin or you don't have to. My club is fully functional and has amazing features, some of the best out there for if you just want to manage this yourself without your twin, you don't need it to be able to use the platform, and that's great.
right.
So some people have it, some people don't. As far as like creating something that's new, we do have a sister site that we're developing because some people want to create like monsters, like AI monsters and stuff like that. So we are
Oh my
like
God,
catering
Japanese
to that.
animation is coming to get us.
Exactly. Yes. So we do have we are creating a space, a separate space where people if that's what they want to create monsters or they want to create their own character and interact with people that way, for sure, cuz some people who are hard into that, absolutely we're going to cater to that market. For the
Right,
most part though, it is people who are real, who have that digital twin, who have trained this AI and the more they use it, the more it is like them, which I find like again the most honest way of having an assistant rather than another person who possibly is somewhere that you don't necessarily know is having a duplicate of your personality, an AI version. So you own your image. If you don't want your AI to be used anymore, you can delete it. If you leave, you can take it away. We don't have the rights to it. It is yours. So we're not taking anything from anyone. You have to actually be a human, consent to this being used, and you are the one who decides if it gets turned on or turned off, and you can delete it at any time. So as where models might think like, oh, they're replacing us, I don't think we ever could. And for people who want to create their own like avatar or monster, that's a whole separate audience of people. So yeah, no, we are really into like the whole idea behind this was to create a product, an AI tool to help models scale up their business, capture some of their life back, also reduce burnout. If someone has, unfortunately, if they have mental health issues, they need to step away for a little while. Your twins got you. They're there selling for you when you're not. Say that you go have surgery, you go on vacation, you have the ability to do that now because there's something there taking care of business for you. So it just
right.
kind of unchains people or
You can step
unshackles
off the
them.
content treadmill for a bit, and
Yes.
and everything is still moving.
Yes. Yes, and that's something that was really never kind of done before. As like when fan sites kind of came along, that was kind of the idea for webcamming. Webcamming was here, and then fan sites came along to be able to give people a way to make money offline. But then that whole thing blew up and just became another way, like another huge beast to kind of
Yeah.
manage and deal with. And then this is again just a tool for people to use so that they can actually have their life back and not have to work every 5 seconds of the day and go out and live life so when you come back you're happy, you have more life experiences to share with your audience, you can create more content, you're relaxed, just kind of ease that stress, which I find incredibly necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
not
we're
just
not
there.
trying to
We need it
replace people.
everywhere. We need
We
this thing everywhere.
sure do,
So
we
speaking of
sure
like where we're
do.
going with this, it's think like time to think like a future. It's the year 2034. It's
Yep,
10 years from
yep,
now. Where are
yep.
we going to be? What are we going to be then?
Well, I think AI companions or AI, like anything like that, AI is going to be a lot more accepted. I think the quality of an AI digital twin is going to be a lot better. I think we'll be able to just in a faster way be able to duplicate or replicate someone's personality in a more authentic way. I think the chat is going to be more authentic. I think everything about it's going to be authentic. I think the ability to have like video calls or private sessions with a digital twin is going to be more, open and used. And I think people are going to start to have like a bit of like a love for their AI. Like I think people are gonna have like human emotions attached to it. Um, and I don't know, I think our AIs are gonna be living lives online that we wish that we could. So I think it'll end up being us living vicariously through a lot of things that our twin is doing.
Yeah. And I
So
think there has to
yeah.
be that connection with the human. It's like, it's
Hmm.
kind of like what we do with all things. We go way too far out
Yeah.
into using the technology. Like
Hmm.
electronic music is a good example. We went way out creating all this crazy electronic music, and then we
Yes.
dropped it for sampling. And when sampling came out, all of a sudden, it blew up again. So it's kind of like we went too far with the technology, and then we'll pull back to a point where it's humans and AI working together to
Yeah.
create new things.
I think so. I think again the thing that's really kind of pleasantly surprised me is how much models care for their AI, like how much they want to protect them. They
Right.
want to make sure no one's being mean to their AI, or they want to make sure that their AI, has everything they need in order to be able to do their job right. So they care for it like it's an actual other person. And I just think, it's going to be more accepted. I think people will really enjoy the freedom of the no judgment and being able to speak to an AI, maybe even getting to know someone through their AI and then wanting to talk to them. Because if you're kind of shy and if you're a little bit more like, not necessarily a strong conversationalist, but you want to talk to this like huge model, you
Yeah.
probably want to talk to their AI first and practice and
Yeah,
then
and you
see
could
what
argue that
like
we're a lot
test
more
run.
introverted now than we've ever been since COVID,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. 100%. So I think it's just going to allow us to, take a little bit of the stress off of speaking to someone. You can practice on their AI and then speak to the real thing. So I
I
just
love
think it's
that.
going to be a lot more accepted and it's going to be another outlet that, we can talk to. And instead of journaling, we're going to be talking to someone's AI or potentially an AI that we create that's our companion or maybe we have our AIs date or talk to each other.
That'd be interesting. I can see the
I
progeny
think
coming
so.
out of that. Oh, my AIs just had kids.
Yeah, why
A
not?
whole AI families. Why not?
Absolutely. I mean, I mean, first it started with The Sims, and
Yeah,
now we're here, and it's way bigger than that.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
I think
cool.
10 years down the road, it's just going to be more accepted. People are going to actually care for their AI, their twins, kind of like they are like an extension of themselves, which they are,
Hmm.
and then kind of use them in a way that's to kind of help facilitate speaking and communicating and connecting on a human level just easier.
I love it. We need
Yeah.
this. We need this
Yeah.
everywhere. Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I want, well, I mean, I'm going to have a Nikki army who's getting kicked off the internet. I'm going to need a whole ton of them
I need
who
an
get
army of
kicked off every
Chris's for
day.
sure.
Sure. We can be on the same team. Let's do
Let's do
it.
this.
Yes.
This has been great. Thank you so much. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
The best way you can contact me on my club. So it's Nikki, Nikki underscore CM for community manager. You can also find me on Twitter. I love it there. Nikki
What, you don't call it
underscore.
X?
Well, never. So, Nikki, Nikki_NIGHT, Nikki Night. Or you can find me on Instagram, Cam Coach Nikki. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, this has
Yeah.
been great. Thank you so much. Talk
Thank
to you
you so
soon.
much.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.